Hey Scrappy Peeps, Suzanna here today for Spiegel Mom Scraps. I'm here to share with you a scrap lift layout. This month we are scrap lifting, and I scrap lifted this particular layout from the Velvet Lemon. I loved that it was Christmas. I loved the incline on the layout, and I loved the way that she had those pieces of greenery that were just kind of hanging from the photo, as well as the white space. So I used this collection from my mind's eye called Jingle All the Way. It's actually from a scrap room kit, and there are only a couple of pieces of pattern paper, 4 to be exact, and cardstock. So I had to incorporate just a little bit more from my own stash because I wanted a few more of the colors that are in this particular pattern paper. I'm using that floral pattern paper there with the poinsettias to be my color choosing pattern paper. I like to have a piece of pattern paper that always ties everything together, and that is where I choose my color scheme from. And then I'm going to use that cardstock as kind of the base color that grounds that, and then ties you into that thinner strip of red that is going to get thinner as you move up to that top right hand corner. And that red is on the back, is from the back side of that floral pattern as well. I was trying to figure out how to minimize the amount of paper that I had to cut into in order to get that strip, but because I'm flipping it, the diagonals made it a little bit more challenging than I otherwise had planned in my head. Not surprising. So those are going to be the header on the top of my layout there. And I just love the way that it gets that red strip gets thinner as it moves up the page. So my original intent had been for the photo to go underneath those layers of paper there. However, there was some poor planning on my part, and I adhere everything down, as you can see I'm doing right here, and that very fine strip was not going to come up, although I am going to try. And as in the process of trying, I realized that yeah, no, not going to work. And you'll see that in a little bit. So I am using this washi from Freckled Fawn as the footer for the page. It looks like it's washi that the Velvet Lemon that she has used at the bottom of her page. So I wanted to do something similar, and I just like that splash of color down there ties into all of the colors in the pattern paper up there. And then she has this little cluster of embellishments over here on this left hand side, and I'm going to do something similar. That is a journal card from the collection with the vertical stripes, and a tag, which is from my stash, as well as a label or two that are from my stash as well. So I'm just going to do some similar layers to what she has, and I like the way that creates some weight at the bottom of the page so that you don't have everything sitting up the top there. So that's the bulk of the elements, and then there's just going to be a few other fine things thrown in there. This sticker you don't end up seeing up there, but I know that it's there. It kind of gets lost in with that header. I could have put a black line or even a white line around it to make it pop a little bit, but it's okay. It's kind of the lost element that's there. So now I'm pulled out some Spiegel Mom Scraps wood veneers. Jody is incorporating some wood veneer into some of her Sequins collections, as well as selling wood veneer individually. This is a Christmas pack that I am using here. It's called Angel Icons, and originally I was going to use 3. You see that I have the 3 laid out there, but I end up just going with the 1, and my trio of embellishments just ends up being a little bit different in each trio. This is where I've reached into my stash. That is some really old studio calico, and that is some authentique. So I just wanted a little bit more of that lighter teal and then that lighter green as layers behind the photo. Those of you who follow my work know that I typically have a white border around my photos. I didn't need it because I have that huge white space in this particular picture. And so that's why I got rid of the white border there. So you see what I did there. There was no way those layers were going to come up, and it was also going to be too bulky, as thin as that piece of pattern paper was. So I just trimmed off the top of the photo there, which actually works much better because it doesn't have that bulk. And then I'm just going to use my sewing machine and stitch across that to adhere that down. It ends up being a bit wonky. You'll see that in the close-ups, but that's okay. And then the Velvet Lemon, she also sewed on that, what I have is the teal strip. She sewed the top and the bottom. I just sewed the top because I'd already sewn on the white on the cardstock there. So the layout that I lifted, there was some greenery, some Christmas greenery in that top left corner of the photo and then the bottom right corner. And I'm going to do something very similar. I'm going to use this die from Sizzix. It's a Tim Holtz die. You will notice that if you've seen any of the Christmas layouts that I've shared lately, just about every single one of them has somehow incorporated this die. I have gotten my money's worth out of this die, and I no doubt will use it throughout my December daily, document your December, whatever you want to call that thing, because I just really like the greenery and the flexibility that you have with these dies. You can choose whatever colors you want and whatever greenery seems to fit the occasion. So I've used the same pattern papers that I put behind my photo, and when you look at it like this, it just looks like this random thing sticking down out of the photo. But when my title is in there and my journaling is in there, you'll see how it comes together and it fits because it flows. It's not this sort of odd element hanging out of there. So she has more greenery, so I'm going to use this sticker, and I like that that pop of white there breaks up the transition from the header into the photo there. And it serves, because it's a little bit larger, it stands out against the bokeh effect of the tree. And once I get that stuck down, you'll have the dimension of those flowers there, followed by the greenery. I'm going to cut out a little bit more that will be draping down out of the cluster there. So you see I've got that green incorporated, and I will go back and I will use my die cut machine to incorporate that lighter bluey tealy color into this. So just a little bit about the photo. This is a photo of my feet in my pajamas with my Christmas socks on Christmas morning, and the title is Kicking Back. This is after the mayhem of all the present opening and tearing through the stockings and all of that fun stuff has finished, and we're just sitting back and relaxing, and no doubt I have a cup of coffee in my hand and I'm just sitting there enjoying the moment. And that's what the journaling says. You know, it's fun to watch the kids have a great time and enjoy the present opening, but it's sometimes nice to just enjoy the quiet that ensues afterwards. So that is what this particular layout is about for me. And honestly, this layout is probably more for me than it is for the kids. Maybe when they get older, they'll appreciate it a little bit more. Just my feelings of enjoying the moments after all of the presents. But currently, they're going to be all about the presents. At 16 and 12, I get it. It's okay. So now I'm just adding some more embellishments, kind of mimicking the things that were on the layout that I'm scrap lifting. And I wanted to do a little bit of title work, but I thought I'm going to put these sequins down first and then kind of work the title around that. In the original layout, there are mist splatters I decided that I was going to use Sequins instead of Miss Splatters, and I have used the Happy Winter collection from Spiegel Mom Scraps, and that is in place of the paint. I had originally pulled a bunch. You can see on the top of that layout there, I have a couple of collections up there. I thought maybe I might incorporate a little bit more red into the layout, but ultimately I end up really liking just that one mix there. So title work time. I've got the stickers from Ellie's Studio, and I have these stamps from Feed Your Craft, and I'm going to stamp back, and I was able to find a really good blue that matches from Gina K, or teal I should say, and then the red is going to be the Kickin', and that kind of gives that runs horizontal across, lined up with the bottom of the photo there, so that it gets incorporated into that block. And then just as she has her journaling underneath the photo, I'm going to go ahead and insert my journaling there as well. And by inserting my journaling there, you can see how it kind of fills that white space, but still gives you the illusion of that white space. And again, as I referred to earlier, it incorporates, it ties in that long hanging element off of the photo. So that, my friends, is my Spiegel Mom Scraps layout for the day. I hope you have enjoyed this process video, and if you have, I would appreciate a thumbs up. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to leave them in the box down below. Thanks for stopping in today. I hope you're doing well. Take care.